let me set the scene real quick. Imagine finally getting those keys to your first home, only to discover you need a new roof, the plumbing is shot, and suddenly that monthly payment feels a lot heavier than you planned. That's exactly what I'm going to help you avoid today. If you're thinking about buying your first home, this video could save you from making a six-figure mistake. I've helped hundreds of buyers avoid money pit properties, and today I'm sharing exactly which type of homes you need to stay away from as a first-time home buyer. Let's start with what I call the lipstick on a pig properties, flipped homes. Now, don't get me wrong, not all flipped homes are bad, but let me tell you about a client of mine who almost bought one last month. The house looked gorgeous online, fresh paint, trendy light fixtures, beautiful kitchen, but when we dug deeper, yikes. The flipper had spent $40,000 making it look pretty, but hadn't touched the 20-year-old HVAC system or the outdated electrical panel. Here's what to watch for with flips. First, look at who did the work. If it's an experienced company with great reviews, that's one thing. But if it's a quick flip LLC that was formed 3 months ago, red flag city. Second, ask for documentation of all the work done, receipts, permits, warranties, the whole 9 yards. A legitimate flipper will have this ready to go. If they start getting a little squirrely about paperwork, run. Speaking of documentation, I've put together a comprehensive first-time buyer guide that walks you through everything you need to know about buying your first home step by step, plus additional mistakes to avoid. Grab it free in the description below. It might just save you from some of these headaches we're talking about. Next up, homes with deferred maintenance. You know what I mean. These are properties where basic upkeep has been neglected, and trust me, it usually snowballs into bigger problems. Just last week, I was showing a home to one of my buyers, and as we walked around the exterior, I noticed something concerning. Several roof shingles scattered on the ground. That's a huge red flag. It usually means the roof hasn't been inspected or maintained, and where there's one problem, there's often more. Here's what I want you to look for when checking for deferred maintenance. First, check those air filters. If they're blacked and caked with dust, that's not just gross, it means the HVAC system has been working overtime and probably hasn't been serviced regularly. Ask the sellers for maintenance receipts for both the AC unit and water heater. If they can't provide any, that tells you everything you need to know. Look up at the roof line. See any rotting fascia boards? That's the wooden board that runs along the edge of the roof. If it's rotting, water damage has been ignored for years. While you're looking up, check for peeling paint around the trim. It might seem minor, but it's another sign that routine maintenance isn't happening. Here's one that people often miss. Check around the foundation for termite tubes. These look like little dirt tunnels running up your foundation wall. I was at a recent showing where we found these, and sure enough, the seller hadn't had a termite inspection in over 5 years. Inside the home, pay attention to sticky doors or windows. This could mean a foundation issue, water stains on ceilings or walls, musty smells in basements or crawl spaces, cracked caulking around tubs and sinks. The tricky thing about deferred maintenance is that one neglected issue usually leads to multiple problems. Now, let's talk about fixer-uppers. Listen, I love HGTV as much as anyone, but they don't show you the real cost of these projects. Unless you're a contractor or have deep pockets, be very careful here. The average bathroom remodel, 10 to 20,000. Kitchen, double that. And that's assuming everything goes perfectly, which it never does. But here's what they don't show you: the budget overruns, the unexpected issues, and the months of living in a construction zone. Suddenly, that $50,000 renovation budget turns into $150,000. And here's the kicker: even after all of these repairs, the home may not be worth as much as you had hoped. So unless you have significant cash reserves beyond your down payment, are well connected with reliable contractors, have experience managing renovation projects, can live somewhere else during renovations, have a detailed understanding of building codes and permit requirements, I strongly recommend avoiding fixer-uppers for your first home. The stress and financial strain just aren't worth it, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about homes that haven't had major components replaced. Most systems in your home have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years. If you're looking at a home where everything is original and it's pushing 20 years old, you're basically buying a ticking time bomb. Here's what I mean. An HVAC replacement, that's 10 to 15,000. New roof, 10 to 20,000. Water heater, 1,500 to 3,000. Windows, about $600 per window installed. So if you're buying a 20-year-old home where nothing's been updated, you could be looking at $50,000 in replacements over the next few years. That's why you need to check ages and maintenance records for all major systems. All right, manufactured homes. I know these can be tempting because of the price point, but here's the brutal truth. They typically depreciate instead of appreciate. Think about that. Most homes gain value over time, but manufactured homes often lose value like a car. Plus, financing can be a nightmare. Many lenders won't touch them, and those who do often charge higher interest rates. And when it's time to sell, you'll face the same challenges finding buyers. Next up, condos or townhomes that aren't FHA approved. Even if you're not using an FHA loan, this is a major red flag. Why? Because FHA has strict requirements about the percentage of owner-occupied units, the reserves that the association had, outstanding litigation, and just the overall financial health of the association. If a condo can't meet these basic requirements, that's telling you something important about how it's being managed. But there's an even bigger issue we need to discuss: appreciation. Here's something your real estate agent might not tell you. Condos typically appreciate much slower than single-family homes. Why? A few reasons. First, you don't own the land. The land is what typically appreciates in value. Second, you're at the mercy of your HOA and other unit owners. If they don't maintain their units or the common areas, your property value suffers. Think about it. When you buy a condo, you're not just buying your unit, you're buying into every decision your neighbors and HOA board make. If they decide to defer maintenance or keep HOA fees artificially low by not funding reserves, guess what happens to your investment? Plus, during market downturns, condos often get hit first and hardest. During the 2008 housing crisis, condos in many areas lost 40 to 50% of their value, while single-family homes dropped about 25 to 30%. This doesn't mean you should never buy a condo, but if building equity is your main goal, you might want to reconsider. And if you do decide on a condo or townhome, just make sure it's FHA approved. Even if you're not using an FHA loan, the HOA has healthy reserves. The majority of units are owner-occupied, not rentals. There's no pending litigation, and the building is well maintained. All right. By now, you may be starting to feel overwhelmed. Don't worry, that's exactly why I created the Ultimate Home Buying Guide. You can download it free using the link below. Now, let me share one final tip. Always get a professional home inspection. These types of homes we've discussed today often have hidden issues that only an experienced inspector can catch. If you want to learn more about mistakes to avoid as a first-time home buyer, watch this video right here where I break down the costly errors I see new home buyers make all of the time. See you in the next video.